Hello, my Ions. Greetings. My name's Jake Allen Graham. Welcome to my channel, where I'll be reviewing what I call cinema's mistake. Spider-Man from 2002. And 2004 sequel Spider-Man 2. And I'll be reviewing the Holland's trilogy in this same video. The whole run of Holland's run. Let's start with the newest one to the oldest. Work your way up to the, instead of working my way up to the top, I'll work my way up to the bottom. For the oldest, from the newest to the oldest. So, this is my review on Spider-Man No Way Home. I give this a 2 out of 10. Because it's given up on structure and just want to deliver spectacle. Problem is the spectacle looks visually ugly and unfinished. With the rough finished CGI and the spectacle of a mess. That is a mistake of a Spider-Man movie and a mistake on cinema making this movie. That's why I give Spider-Man No Way Home a 2 out of 10. And Homecoming gets a 2 out of 10, and Far From Home, the sequel to Homecoming, a 2 out of 10. Now I'm going to go into spoiler territory to explain why I liked what happens about the movie, all the bullshit in the trilogy of Spider-Man trilogy with Holland's. So, spoiler alert, the whole trilogy is basically lies to you and dupes you into thinking it's a retelling, but what it is, it's a retelling of the origin story, and the whole trilogy is the origin. The origin story happens in the trilogy. The entire trilogy is the origin story. Retelling the origin story and reimagining without Uncle Ben being a part of the origin story. Instead, it's Aunt May who becomes the Uncle Ben figure to Peter, I guess. And she's a floozy. A slut. And flirts with a lot of guys. And clearly getting horny for a lot of guys. And has an off relationship. He has a relationship, breaks up quickly after with Happy Hogan. After thinking it's going so it just turns out it wasn't going anywhere. She's a slut. And a powerful woman that delivers the iconic line, with great power comes great responsibility. Uncle Ben doesn't exist in this universe as far as we know. So I'm not even going to treat him like a character, because the movie universe doesn't treat him like a character anymore. He's about as important to this version as Peter as modern Spider-Man's is. It makes MJ important to Peter Parker, with him getting cucked and no longer a relationship with MJ, and constantly losing a job, can't hold a steady job, and can't win as Spider-Man because he's a loser. Holland's Spider-Man has much in common as with 616 Spider-Man from the modern media, post after Brand New Day happened and wrapped up and entering the new era. After One More Day wrapped up. Entering Brand New Day, and go on as we get more and more news stories explaining from that universe instead of putting the character to rest in that universe. With it, they just want to keep on milking the cow until nobody's interested anymore. You know, the thing about Holland's trilogy is this, the actor that Tom Holland's, I honestly believe could play a decent Spider-Man if he was given any better scripts than what he was gotten for any of these movies. If he's given ever like a one good Spider-Man script that tells a three-act structure and knows how to add layers to his character instead of this being the most incumbent version of himself, that's an idiot, and the most selfish version of himself. I mean, that's the problem with this with Holland's Spider-Man, how he's written. Just into still being, that's how he's written in the MCU, how they written him as. And I honestly don't think it's Holland's fault entirely. I just think, the writers is really the writers' fault because they're like, maybe because Holland's so young looking than the other Peter Parkers, it'll pay off if we make him the most immature and unlikable version of himself on paper. It might make genius if you do that as the final. I think this is what I think what the writers were going to hell. They thought just because Holland's like so younger than the other Peters, I think it would be a good idea to make him the most unlikable, unrecognizable, uncanny version of himself from the source material. From the 616 universe and make him more like a parody of how he's written as. Similar to 616, Spider-Man has been written as for the last decades of his universe. Since I think that happened. What Spider-Man's dad become the most started becoming very unlikable once One More Day wrapped up and entering Brand New Day. In other runs with the 616 universe, sure there were some gems like Spectacular Spider-Man that hit well with the public and sold well with stories, but again, there wasn't that many coming from 616 Spider-Man after One More Day wrapped up and entering Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is the last Spider-Man run I think that sold well to the public for more than, surprisingly so well but they kind of mark a downfall on what happened after that. Like, it's like the people still had enough trust Spider-Man comics were going to be good, and maybe One More Day kind of damaged that relationship with their trust with Spider-Man comics. In addition, after One More Day came out and damaged their relationship, it's like Spider-Man is the key character for damaging comic book relationships he's become. Like, Spider-Man's like no good anymore and no longer a likable or relatable character or funny character anymore. He's just annoying fuck and a selfish prick. Similar how Tom Holland's been written as in the trilogy. So I hear Spider-Man Brand New Day is supposed to be more of a reboot and not as much as a continuation with Peter Parker's Spider-Man. So does this mean he's going to be written more as the Spider-Man I liked from the old comics from 616 universe and the Spider-Man I liked from the old Ultimate comics from the old universe, or the Spider-Man I liked that, well, honestly, Andrew did a good job playing, and I believe he was that good Spider-Man in the two Spider-Man movies he played, and I think the same way about Spider-Man 3 with Tom Maguire. That's the only Spider-Man movie I liked was him, Maguire's run. And that's why I give Spider-Man Trilogy with Tom Holland's a 2 out of 10. It just sucked. All 3 of them installments. The best one I think is the one with Mysterio. The worst one I think is Spider-Man No Way Home. The one where it has too many villains and not even from any of his timeline. So it doesn't give me ideas or hope that the writers ever knew what they were doing, and I feel like they have lost the narrative and is trying to capitalize off of nostalgia. The problem was one more day. I mean, Spider-Man No More Home. No Way Home. Is the third installment was Holland's run. Is my biggest problem with third installment. Actually, that's my problem with his, these are all kind of how I feel about all of his movies in general, Holland's run. I really think the best one's the one with Mysterio, and the second best probably Homecoming, but the worst one's definitely the third one. That's why I give Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland's a 2 out of 10. I know I said I was going to talk about Spider-Man 2 and 1 from 2002, but I'm too tired because of talking about all this crap with Tom Holland's. So I'm going to save those for a different video with that review on Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 1 from 2002. Because I'm exhausted talking about Tom Holland's. So I'm just going to say he had the worst run on Spider-Man in live action out of the bunch. Maybe Brand New Day will be different, but I doubt it. These movies sucked. As a 2 out of 10. All 3 Spider-Man movies was Holland's, Tom Holland. Goodbye. Subscribe to my video content.